All right, welcome back to Party Wolf Media. Uh I'm a minute late. I took that to heart. Let's see who we've got in the building so far. Where are we at here? All right, so far slow start, no problem, no problem. Gonna be doing a reaction video today for it says atheist tries the slavery argument, then this happens. And we're going to see exactly what happens. This is going to be honestly like we're going to see how it goes. This type of stuff is sometimes a bit hard to watch just because the way that the apologist kind of formulates their debates is a bit rough. So I'm just going to check a few settings here and make sure I am good to go on everything and see, give everybody a chance. Here we go. Give folks a chance to jump in the chat. Let me know. I wonder if y'all can hear Mango in the background. She is chomping on a bone. Who we got? Who is Murphy Seal? Hey, what up, homie? Oh, what up? What up? What up? My boy. Well, I don't know. Well, Triple A, I guess to say. How are you? You can hear cool. Oh, you can hear it. Okay. Let me turn this down a little bit. Cause give her that keep you occupied. It won't last long. Yeah, it should be a little better now. And my volume should just probably be lower. Triple A, yeah. Okay. I knew that's how it looked, but in my mind I was like, how is it pronounced again? How is it pronounced? I don't know if you've ever seen this video that I'm about to play, brother. Because I know you like spend more time in this space than me. Because I don't have a lot of patience for some of these debates, but someone sent this to me, so I tried to watch it and I was like, this is starting off really, really bad. Like, why is he starting off from this point? And then I kept thinking about it and I was like, I should make a video reaction for it. And then I was like, no. And I've not had a lot of time to like do separate recordings. So I was like, you know what? Let's just do a live one. So I finally got through it, watched it to I think I watched it to about the end. So yeah. If it's just me and you, that's fine. Because I really do. I do also want your opinion on this. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. I actually practiced doing this the other day to make sure. See now. Select tab here. All right, let's do this. Nope. Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to just copy and put it over in this other tab. That's all. Nothing bad. All right. Here we go. Let me know if this is coming through. We're gonna rewind. Is that coming through? I'm gonna pause this for a hot second because that's right before. I don't know what they were talking about before. Oh, here we go. I don't know what they were talking about before, but this will allow me to. All right, Can you see that? And let me know if you can also
It's just interesting that incest
hear
was outlawed
it.
by Moses in the Bible. Hey, Roy, I got your name on this one. It doesn't sound like I changed your mind. Thanks for talking to us, buddy. Appreciate it.
And I appreciate your talk.
Guys.
Good talk.
So first of all, shall we do slavery? Okay.
Okay, is that coming through? We should be. I think it is. I'm gonna trust it. I think I'm gonna trust it. And we're gonna let it roll. I can hear it. Okay, see it.
You believe in evolution?
All right.
You believe like survival of the fittest and the survival of the strongest? And I don't mean
So
this in a funny way.
we are starting off very bad. I don't know if you caught that. Survival of the fittest, survival of the strongest. Okay. He kind of threw that last part in there. He kind of snuck that survival of the strongest in there, and you'll see why in a
Ask this
second.
question. You think slavery is wrong?
Yes, of course.
But why is that wrong if basically it's the survival of the fittest or the strongest? I mean, the weak should go, the strong should survive. Am I right or
No,
wrong?
I'd agree with that. The issue that we would come in.
So time out, right? Like this guy, I don't know if I don't know like what. So this is on a Christian channel. So I don't know who this guy is. They might show it at the beginning. I didn't watch the whole video. There's no way I could watch the whole video. But I'm watching this segment that was told to me to watch, which was about slavery. We got another watcher. Who are you? What's up? Say what's up. Welcome in. We are doing a live reaction to a debate. Atheist tries the slavery argument, and then this happens. Is what it. Why the fuck did he? Yeah. So here's the thing. Again, I don't know who this guy is. Of course it's Dark Light. What's up, brother? What is up, brother? I don't know if he's just like a nice guy, because he's gonna let a lot of things slide that like I don't do debates, but like if I was talking to this guy, I would not let him like you'll see in a second. But yeah, so like first of all, you should have agreed to that. I don't know why you said you agree to that, and I get he's probably like, yeah, for the most part. And I don't know if this is because I've seen this and I know what this guy's about to do. So I know he's about to try to like play this in a weird way, or if this, I almost want to say kid, he looks pretty, he looks like he's young, but looks old. Really bad. Like he looks like he's like 25, but he looks, okay, never mind. Next. I'm not trying to be mean. And so I don't know if he's just being nice or if he's being naive. And we're gonna find out. So I'm gonna rewind this like a couple, because we just got started. Dark Light.
I appreciate it.
And I appreciate your talk.
Guys.
Good talk.
So first of all, shall we do slavery? Okay. You believe in evolution? You believe like survival of the fittest and the survival of the strongest?
Yes.
And I don't mean this in a funny way. I do want to ask this question. You think slavery is wrong?
Yes, of course.
But why is that wrong if basically it's the survival of the fittest or the strongest? I mean, the weak should go, the strong should survive. Am I right or
No,
wrong?
I'd agree with that. The issue that we would come in here is you can have there's a lot of things. Like I can also.
And so that's what we were talking about when you guys just came in. It's like, why did he agree to that? Why did he agree to like survival of the fittest and like he threw in that strongest? So we're gonna let this roll.
But I stay on slavery. I don't want to move on.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of.
We're doing one thing at a time.
Yeah. I was just giving it as an example.
Purely slavery.
But for slavery,
Yes.
back in like these olden ages, because these cultures, these environments, these societies weren't as evolved or had the amount of like learning or the amount of.
Let's try not to accuse them of not being educated. Let's stick to the topic.
Well, I mean,
why is slavery wrong today?
Okay, so like that's a. I don't know why he interrupted him. I mean, maybe like to get back to like whatever, but you can assume people weren't educated at a certain point, like because we continue to know things. Like that's not a crazy thing to.
Why is slavery wrong today?
Yeah, sure.
It's because we have the power to give rights to.
I don't care about that. I'm talking about evolution being true. If I want to,
we believe people have natural rights, and those natural rights.
I believe people.
Why is slavery wrong today? But I'm talking about evolution being true.
I've got natural rights, but you're standing on my foundation to argue my foundation. My foundation is
Well, we're on the same foundation.
not entirely. We are right now, but I want to take you off my foundation. Let's just pretend there is no God, because I think that's where you stand. And evolution is how we came about. If I was of a certain race and I believe that my race should be the dominant race, I want to know now, why is that wrong? I'm going to get rid of all the weak people. I'm going to use them and abuse them for my success, so that my race grows and becomes the dominant race, and your race, the weaker race, it's just destroyed and removed. Why is that
So
wrong?
I would use this one called like the world like justice is blind.
Okay, so first, Dark Light. We're gonna get to that because he's gonna keep bringing it up, and we're gonna have to touch on like, what does it actually mean to be like what's beneficial for the group and survival for social species such as ours. But right here, like, why is it not wrong?
I would say because you can't predict which human you'll be in a society. People have natural rights.
It's a weird question and a weird like answer.
But you're
Right?
standing on my foundation to argue my foundation. My foundation is
Well, we're on the same foundation.
not entirely. We are right now, but I want to take you off my foundation. Let's just pretend there is no God, because I think that's where you stand. And evolution is how we came about. If I was of a certain race and I believe that my race should be the dominant race, I want to know now, why is that wrong?
He wants to know why that's wrong. Yeah, he kind of dances around it. I don't think he actually like says it, but he'll dance around it a bit. But what he first has to do is he first has to tear down this guy's worldview. Like, he essentially has to tell this guy what he believes. You'll see he kind of keeps asserting like what this guy believes, and this guy just agrees with everything he says. He just agrees with everything he says. But yeah, so he's asking like why this is wrong, right? So he wants an answer from like, okay, like if evolution is true, if we just evolved, then why is this wrong? And I don't think this guy's answer
I'm going to
is
get rid of all the, I'm
great.
going to get rid of all the weak people. I'm going
But-
to use them and abuse them for my success, so that my race grows and becomes the dominant race, and your race, the weaker race, it's just destroyed and removed. Why is that
So
wrong?
I would use this one called like the world like justice is blind. I would say because you can't predict which human you'll be in a society, right? There are certain. No?
I don't know if you're following my question here.
Well,
My
I'm not-
question is,
no,
I
what I'm following-
believe, let's just pretend this.
Well,
I,
that is-
So I think what he's saying is like, okay, it's wrong because we don't have any control over like who we're born in. Like, we don't have control to select like which of these, races we are. So it would be unfair to be like, your race should be over ours because none of us, like, we didn't earn it, right? Like, I think that maybe what he was trying to say and just explained it in a weird way.
What is wrong?
Yeah.
What is wrong
Yeah.
is if you have classes in a society, right? And you have one class that has no rights because they're slaves, right?
Who cares?
The
Evolution
reason
is in charge
because-
here. I'm pointing out the weakness of your argument. If you're standing on my foundation, then you have every right to attack it.
He said, I'm standing on the weakness of your argument. Notice how this guy here has barely made an argument. Like, initially, I believe he came to like their little setup they had, which might be behind, and basically said something along the lines of like, the Bible can't be like objectively moral because of slavery or something like that, like just something addressing slavery. And then here's this guy's answer. Delusional confidence of followers. I like that. I meant to mute my bad. Oh well. So yeah, so I don't think he actually like he's saying he's standing on the weakness of his argument, but he's actually, I mean, he's strawmanning, but in a super weird way, because this guy keeps going along with what he's saying, and it's like either neither one of you really know, or
Because you're going to come to slavery in a minute and have to explain it. But I'm saying, ignore what the Bible says. Let's just say the Bible is wrong. God doesn't exist. We just evolved from the pond scum.
Something. There's a more scientific name.
Okay, well,
But-
very tongue-in-cheek. Like, we just evolved from pond scum is like a very, flippant way of addressing, like, single cellular organisms growing into multicellular organisms, in coming from water. Like, that's weird. You have to. I mean, you have to. Like, I just start throwing weird stuff out now sometimes. Just like, I'll throw out, some of the like pretend lore, panspermia, yeah, like the pretend lore that we have with Fangs, which is a cute little rabbit deity, patron saint of magicians, consensual blinking, which the sex stuff, and all kinds of things alike. So yeah, that's a kind of a good tactic to combat, kind of going back and forth. So I'm just going to keep it rolling and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Primordial soup.
Yeah.
We're just stardust. I mean, we are molecules
Yes.
floating through space. There is no such thing as right and wrong. I mean, you have to admit to that.
We're just we're just stardust, as if
From pond scum.
Something there's a more scientific name.
Okay, well,
but
that's
yeah,
primordial soup.
Yeah.
We're just stardust.
Primordial
we
soup.
are molecules floating through space.
How can you say
There's no
we're
such thing as
just
right and wrong.
stardust? Like that's also still not like, an amazingly like cool, little like fun fact. He doesn't understand survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest is an archaic term, right? While being fit for your environment is a factor, exactly. It's not the most important one. You also need to be able to pass on those traits to your offspring, which is, I would say, immensely more complex, because just being fit for the environment is one thing, but then finding a mate, procreating, taking care of, and raising the offspring is a multi-layered thing. Like, being fit for the environment is just like being born with privilege, but then like doing all the other stuff is the actual work. What's most important is the ability to reproduce faster. Yeah, exactly. Reproduce faster than your species dies, right? And do it in multiple environments, to where cats were so good there is a snow leopard. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you not only are you're not dying out, but you're also spreading and adapting to new places. So this guy has a very bad understanding of evolution, and I'm not even like an expert. I don't like child's magic. Also crazy. Oh my God, sacrifice a child. Yep. He's a necromancer. Yes.
I mean, you have to
Keep this
admit to
rolling.
that, because there'll be absurdity. Because suddenly you're no different to a plant, and you're arguing there's such thing as right and wrong. Plants don't argue about
You're
right
no
and wrong.
different.
Animals don't right and wrong, and you're nothing but.
So right here, this part, not gonna lie, this part made me mad, because like, you're no different than a plant, and then he says plants don't argue right from wrong, and then he says animals don't. And then he kind of like trails on. And I don't know if he like realized and stopped himself, or if they were just kind of, because they were kind of not talking over each other, but kind of trying to figure out which one was about to talk. That is demonstrably false. Like, saying that
Animals right and wrong. Plants don't argue about right and wrong. Animals don't right and wrong.
So if a chimpanzee can understand fairness, right? Like, if you give one chimp a grape, you give another chimp a grape. Next day you give one chimp a grape, you give the other chimp a grape. The next day you give one chimp 2 grapes, and you give the other chimp 1 grape. That one chimp is gonna be mad, right? Like, he is gonna be upset about being treated unfairly, especially like if you consider how like apes are social species, right? And there's typically like hierarchy. So if he's like, hey, like, I'm supposed to eat first, or I'm supposed to get more, like, that could be one reason to like him for him to be upset, or just in general, like, we were getting equal, we should be getting equal stuff. What do you base yourself on? Right? Yep, exactly. It's committed the is ought fallacy. Evolution is a theory that describes how things are. It's absurd to use evolution to determine how things ought to be. Thank you. This is why. Yeah. Thank you. It's the fact that dinosaurs died, but it's not a moral fact that dinosaurs ought to have. Right, because without that, like, you could say like they ought to have died. Um, like we needed them to die for like mammals to take over, but it doesn't mean that like had to happen. It's just that because that happened, we were able to take over. Mammals, and then eventually us. So yeah, this is whew.
And you're nothing but an animal, but you evolved into some delusional point where you think there is such thing as right and wrong, but it's just your view on the world. But if
Okay, so one thing I do want to say before I forget, right? Because he brought up evolution, he brought up animals. There was a documentary. I don't know if you guys seen it, but it was on Netflix. It is amazing. I think it's called A Gorilla Story. It's David Attenborough. He is like 100 years old, and he's like recollecting this. Like this was like 30, 40 years ago. Like no, it was 40 probably years ago because I'm older than um yeah, picking on intellectual fear and gaslighting real bad. Like it's real bad gaslighting. But these gorillas, it was a group of gorillas. One of the moms had a baby, and the baby, I want to say, because it's been a few months since I watched it, but I want to say the baby like was hurt or like roughed up or something like that. And all the gorillas were like wondering like what happened. No one saw it, and the baby interacted and looked at everyone, like all the gorillas in the group, except for this one particular male who was already like kind of on edge with everyone because he was like the next oldest, but he wasn't old enough to really be big enough and confident enough and strong enough to actually challenge the alpha male, but he did anyway. Got put in his place, and then after that, everybody was kind of like, "Fuck that dude," to the point where when this happened and this little baby gorilla wasn't like looking at him, they were all like, okay, well, he did it. He did it, and they literally ran him out. Like they ran him out of the group. And any like social animal, if you aren't in a group, it is life or death. Like your chances of survival plummet. I have like a saying, a lone wolf is a dead wolf. It's part of the reason I'm doing all this YouTube stuff and stuff with Bridge City. It's just because we are a social species. So it's like if you get ostracized from the group, that is the group enacting a sort of justice for you breaking a rule, whether it's like, written or not. Like, don't mess with the baby. Like it doesn't like, even a gorilla can understand like you're damn near an adult. Don't mess with the baby. Like you're talking like less than 2 years old. So if even a gorilla can understand that, then you can't say you can't really use evolution as like a basis for moral argument, but you can say that it is beneficial for a social species to act and coincide in a way that everyone agrees with, so that there's group cohesion, because in a group that needs to survive as a group, you need group cohesion. So it's not that evolution necessarily like breeds like any sort of moral, but it just happens to be that for that group, because for a tiger, it's different. For a solitary animal like a tiger, it's different. Tiger don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like tiger just murk you. It don't care. There's no, whatever. Like they come together to mate. Other than that, don't come near me. So yeah, so to say that like animals don't know right from wrong, it is demonstrably false. You can pick up literally any nature documentary and see that animals are especially social animals. Like solitary animals, maybe not so much, but any animal that's like social, elephants, orcas, apes of all kinds, wolves, and other canids. Yeah, evolution doesn't say that dinosaurs dying was good. Yeah, it was good for us, but evolution doesn't, make a judgment call on that. All right, let's keep rolling.
Somebody came in and thought that your view of the world is completely unhealthy. He should win, he should destroy you, like there are a lot of people out there at the moment, especially in the Middle East. If I came along into your country and I felt that I should enslave all of you because I'm from England and I think it's the best thing to do, then there is no objective reason why you could come along and say, hey, John, you shouldn't do that because, and I'd say, whatever it is, I disagree with it. You have no foundation to prove that I'm wrong.
The
Other than how you feel.
The only foundation I do have.
Okay, I'm gonna let him answer, but we see how he's like throwing onto him like you don't have this, like what foundation do you have? Like instead of him asking like, okay, I'm presenting you this situation of like these people from England want to come take your people. What moral foundation do you stand on to say that's wrong? Go. That is a good faith argument. What this guy is doing is saying you don't have that because evolution is just survival of the fittest and the strongest. And so whoever, and yeah, you'll.
But this is what you said. You pointed out saying I'm only covering the consequences.
Yes.
Is I would simply say that if you look at the arc of human evolution, that you look at where we started, you look at where we ended, the values that people hold of the dominant societies that exist today are the religious societies. And you might say, and this is me stepping on your ground. What I'm trying to say is this is evolution proving that you are wrong because
that will not come to me yet. In a minute, will come to me. But for now,
it's proving that I'm right.
If I come.
So I think he got like suckered into his game. Is that am I seeing this right? Did he get suckered into his game? Because I understand bringing up like saying that like as a human species we've evolved to have like like a dominant like moral system. But like if you want to use that argument like that's why I use the argument of giving all the animal examples, because the argument is deeper, right? Because if the stance from evolution is that we all, like everyone has if you go back far enough, the same common ancestor, but also the fact that like we're related to the other great apes. If you put all that together, then you can look at multiple, like you don't need to just like look at, you can look at multiple examples and see like, oh, okay, like groups that, I'm sorry, I'm burpy. Groups that live together, like of any like animal that live together. And he said plants to know right from wrong. And like I could even almost see that being not entirely accurate, because plants do have a way of communicating and they do have a way of sending distress signals. So maybe not in like a moral sense, but if you can send distress signals, then you can experience suffering, I would say. So, and if you can experience suffering, then do you know right from wrong? I don't know. Like, like they know a state of like, this is the correct state, sun, rain, there's nitrogen in the soil, all that stuff. And if you get that, like, okay, this is right. And then you get like, too much rain, right? And you're like, oh, this is too much. Or you get like, a dry spell, or there's like a fire near, like even if the fire isn't like there, but it's nearby, then there's like the oxygen in the air is different, right? Or if there's like bugs going around, like eating everything, like plants will send distress signals to like other plants. Hey, like there's locusts or whatever going on, eating everything. So if plants can experience those sensations and suffering, it's like, I don't know if that's right from wrong, but it's close. It is close. He should corrected him from the top, pointing out evolution doesn't determine morality. Exactly. I think that was like a mistake. I don't know if he was trying to like save time. Like again, like I didn't get the full like story of who this guy was. And I don't know if he himself is like any sort of influencer. I think he was just maybe a passerby who just happened to kind of come upon the situation. But yeah, he's engaging in some really like shady tactics, and I just find this is what I tend to see often, which is why I can't like watch a ton of like I watch this because like I said, it was sent to me, but I can't watch this stuff a lot because yeah, exactly. Because man, make up your mind.
you and I say everything you said about your opinion about we should respect each other, look after each other, I disagree. I think I should dominate you, enslave you, and make my descendants succeed. You would say, well, that doesn't make a successful society. I'll turn around and say it does make it a very successful society for my descendants. I don't care what you think. Even if I end up with 100 people of my descendants and the million of yours is no longer existent, I count that as success.
I just find it funny that the people you're referring to are only like 1 to 2% of the population, and the people who have that have like brain disorders.
Well, in that
or not cultural. They have cultural.
Under the circumstances where God doesn't.
I'm muted. When he said he's like brain disorders, he's like or not or cultural. It was like yeah, cultural. We know some cultures just be out there conquering. Yeah, that's just man. It's just like why do we have to go to the extreme with the what ifs? You know what I mean? Like you go extreme with the what if, but it's still like that's not
Exists. There is no such thing.
He did good.
My chemical reaction behaves differently to yours. You cannot say I'm right or wrong. Neither can you. So if the aliens came along down here and they said, hey, I'm going to enslave all of you, and say, no, you can't. And they say, why not? Because we don't agree. And they say, I don't care what you agree. I'm going to enslave you anyway, because that's how we dominated the universe.
I'm just saying. They would be right, because that's.
There we go. Therefore, if
you're uncomfortable with that,
all I want you to agree.
I do agree.
They would be right. Like what? They would be right, and if they have the ability to do it, they can do it. Like if you have the ability to do something, you can do something. That doesn't mean you should. I guess that would be odd because like we're saying. I mean, this is his like might makes right kind of argument. Like because you have the capability of enslaving gives you the right to enslave because of evolution. And he's not like trying to argue that that's his point, but he's trying to make it that is his opponent's point, because that is a very easily beaten point because it's dumb and that's not what that's not what anyone says that things are or should be. So yeah, like trying to like he's trying to like line up like an unfair fight, dominating someone else. Exactly. It's about reproduction and suitability. Yes, dominating others is entirely irrelevant. Exactly. That is I won't say a human thing. I would say probably maybe more like an ape. Well, not even like apes, because like dogs do it. It's just, I guess, an animal thing. Like occasionally you want to dominate. We just have like the proclivity. Like I think humans, the thing we do best is that we do everything to the extreme, right? Like all animals communicate. We're learning that like even some animals have like sounds and different like ways of describing different things, like predators in the air versus predators on the ground, thing with red versus thing with blue. Like if there's like a guy wearing a red shirt, then a guy comes in with like a blue shirt, they can like make different sounds to distinguish so that they know what to look for. So it's like animals can communicate. We just do it way better. We can communicate, across the globe, which some animals can do as well. I think it's humpback whales. Their calls can travel, around the globe because they're so like low and, below the water. So it's like, if we do everything extreme, they can do these things. They're just not doing them to the same, extent that we are. So it's like, you can't even use that as an argument because animals are going to dominate. Like if they can, like if a pack of wolves are stronger than another pack of wolves and y'all got bison over there and y'all try to chase us out, we just gonna come in and take your bison. Like it's that simple.
I don't know why we're going around. I agree.
Thank God for that. I can thank God that we arrived to the
what
conclusion.
the
The problem is that you stood there saying it's wrong.
Yeah.
The Bible is wrong because of slavery.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you cannot say it's wrong because there is no such thing as objectively absolutely true. Now you come to me and you say, John, I get it. My worldview does not allow
I'm just
me
gonna.
to
Sorry,
now
I was
you come
gonna.
to me and you say, John, I get it. My worldview does not allow me to criticize yours.
Yes.
There is no allowance.
Yes.
I apologize for criticizing
Yes,
your worldview because I
yes,
have no
yes.
ground to stand on.
Yes.
But I am interested in knowing, how do you justify it? Because
Why? See, this is not good faith argumentation. This is someone trying to like tear someone else down so that when they do make their weak argument, it stands, or it seems to stand a little bit higher, right? Saying that like you have like
God knows, my worldview is objectively absolutely true. Now you come to me and you say, John,
you
I get
come
it.
to me.
My worldview does not allow me to criticize yours.
Yes.
There is no
Yes.
allowance.
Yes.
I apologize for
And he just
criticizing
yes,
your worldview
yes.
because I have no ground to stand on.
Yes.
But I am interested in knowing, how do you justify it?
It's arrogant too. Like the cockiness that is coming off this guy, like it bothers me. It's almost creepy in a way. Like he's like now you apologize to me, and now you come to me and you tell me why I like you're wrong. Why, and you ask me to tell you why you come to me and apologize and then ask me to tell you why you're wrong. What?
Because God has given you a conscience.
And then that guy kept just going like, yeah, like nodding, smiling, like what?
That's telling you out loud, without fail, that there is something wrong with it, but your response is, I really don't know why, but I know it's there. I know it's there, and I know I'm right. I know I'm right, but I just can't explain it. I can't reconcile it because it's so strong that I know I have to do this.
He's putting a lot of words into this guy's mouth, like paragraphs worth. I could see like saying 2 to 3 sentences and then saying like and then be like, am I correct in that assumption about you or in your thinking? But he is saying whole paragraphs like about this guy, and then the guy is just like agreeing. He's gonna like retort a bit, but like the amount of like, I don't know this guy, so I don't know if he actually agrees with this guy or not. I don't think he actually does. I just don't think he knows how to go about it because it's so ridiculous. Presupposing objective morality is real or that subjective morality isn't is a trick a lot of people fall for. Exactly. So it's like, I think that is the one thing is I don't think that guy knows where he stands on that. And I think that would trip anybody up really. But Ray Comfort, I don't Living Waters. Yeah, I don't know what that is or who those people are. Probably for the better. But yeah, so it's like I think because he doesn't know where he stands on objective versus subjective morality, that he really struggles with this. Because like I said, this guy's just throwing like all this, like, you have nothing, you can stand on nothing, like you don't even know, like, and now ask me, like, what?
But at the same time, I can't justify it. How do you justify it? Done. And now that's good because that's what you're telling me. How do you justify
Yes.
it?
Yes.
And I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
You're sure?
Yes, I'm ready. Now, the reason
Okay, so after I think okay, this is what I'm thinking is happening. Okay, I think what's happening is the young man with the rough haircut just wants to hear this guy's reasoning. And I think he was like, just like, yes, speed up, get to your reasoning behind why my prompt is incorrect, right? I think that's what he was doing here. Okay, I think I've heard the name before, but I can't. I honestly can't do it. Can't do it.
why I'm good at this is because I did a whole 1 hour video on the whole topic, which I'm going to give it to you. So I'll give you the short version, and I encourage you to see the full version. Is that okay?
I've listened to apologists. My grandparents.
This
I've
one,
had many conversations.
let me tell you this. Christians have got problems with this. I'm saying the majority of Christians are wrong about how they respond to this question. Okay? And that's why you're struggling with it.
It's the hey, those guys were wrong. I know you've asked this question to a lot of people, but they were wrong. I on the other hand, I have the solution. I'm the smart one. I figured it out. I have the key. I'm going to tell you. Here's the secret.
Because no one's giving you a good answer, but I'm going to do it for you. Are you with me?
I'm ready.
Okay, thank you. Roy, if nothing else, you're humble. You don't need to be humble because your worldview doesn't say you need to be humble. You need to be dominant, but you are, because God has given you that quality.
Why does he need to be dominant? When did that ever, like, when did, and this is the issue with like him not stopping and correcting this man, because why are you saying he has to, who says he has to be dominant? Who says that's in his, like, who says his worldview is that he has to be dominant? It's because he thinks evolution is the same thing as might makes right. Gaslighting again. Yes, he's gaslighting him, and the dude is just like either just letting it slide or
You have, and you don't know where it's coming from.
Well, I would just say that being humble and being dominant, because dominance could also just be confidence, and confidence and humbleness are better in different situations.
You're demonstrating humility when you're talking to me, and I appreciate that.
Because it's good. in the
It's
conversation.
very good because God tells you it's good. You know what God says?
Oh, it also just has better conversations.
He did. Well,
Humble people create the best conversations.
you're not talking to the right people. That's why you're saying these things.
this guy's being polite, and this dude is making it sound like he's ass kissing, right? Is anyone else getting that vibe? Like, this guy's just being polite, and he's like, this is good that you're being so humble talking to me. Again, because I know I have the secret. I am the master. So you must be humble when you talk to me. Grifters. Christian morality is it objective, is based on God's nature. Exactly. God is an agent, so that by definition makes it subjective. Correct. Agents in the system do not act outside of the influences of the agents around them. Then prove that with the absolute certainty. Pimp Daddy, I like that name. I don't know what the hell that comment means, but I like that name, and maybe check them. This is getting
You speak to some
weird.
other people, they will not agree with
They're
you.
not fair. Hey, yeah.
You
But
know?
we just call them narcissists.
Let's do that. But there's nothing wrong with narcissism if evolution is true. It's whoever wins. It's whoever wins. High five.
What are we talking? What?
All right.
What are
now,
we?
Roy,
What are we talking about? Nothing. Narcissism is okay if evolution is true. Those words in that order to make that sentence shouldn't even have ever like come out. Like, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Even morality is based on Abrahamic God, it would still be subjective to the gods. Well, exactly. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. And then he high-fived that. Like, what are we high-fiving that
Here's
for,
the
my guy?
the Bible does talk about slavery. It talks about three kinds of slavery. It
Yeah.
talks about the
Yeah.
Hebrew slavery. It talks about prisoners of war slavery, and it talks about foreign slaves. And it describes them slightly different, but it uses the same word for every one of them. And the reason why it confuses people is because the word slave is the same one for each one, but in English, so that's the Hebrew, ebed is the word, but in English, we translate each one of them as a different word. Like this one we call bondservant, this one we call the foreigners we call slaves, actually the word slaves. And then the prisoners that we call them bondservants or some other thing, right? The problem is that people get confused about it because the Hebrew slaves, actually they're not slaves. What they are is bondservants. So they come along and they do a task for money.
They're actually not slaves. Like,
but they can't work for anybody else, and they have to work full-time under those conditions, and they have to be released on the 7th year or the year of Jubilee, the 50th year, because they go away with presents. And the reason why they have to be released is because they have to go and look after their land. They're not allowed to lose their land. Okay? So these people are under certain conditions. They have to work because they went bankrupt. Today, if somebody goes bankrupt, you write them off and they do whatever they
It's
like.
like indentured servitude in England.
Yeah.
so okay, that right there. Time out. Today, if somebody goes bankrupt, you write them off and let them go, let them live their life. What did he
Today,
say?
if somebody goes bankrupt, you write them off and they do whatever they
It's
like.
like indentured servitude.
You write them off and they do whatever they like. First of all, not true. Okay. I feel like in this year of like everyone being broke, people are a little more open to talk about like finances, right? Because everybody is like we all know everyone is struggling. And so can't just lay out a bit. All right, bet. No problem, brother. Yeah, the book gonna make you a million. I feel that. Hang on, let me get back to that in a second. So the Actually, no. Being dominant makes you less likely to survive. He's ignoring the fact that our ecosystems depend on the existence of many creatures. Correct. And there are some situations where if you are too dominant, you will be ostracized for being a dick. Elephants do that, which is funny. If we're not dominating others, we likely would create an environment inhospitable to ourselves. You too, Dark Light. Have a good night, man. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, if we would likely create an environment inhospitable. Yeah, it's just like it's simple. If it's not good for the organism, if it's not good for the group, then don't do it. Like it's not rocket science. Um, I just believe that killing babies is wrong unless God does it. That's not right. That is very subjective. That's the literal definition of subjective. Being subject to change, which, yeah, it's wrong until it's not, and that is what subject to change means. So yeah, see a dark light. Man, okay, so
Yeah, corrupt. Today, if somebody goes bankrupt, you write them off.
so okay, that's right. I lost my spot. I ain't gonna lie, but we're back talking about bankrupt. Like I've heard a few people like in the last couple weeks like talk a little more like openly, probably than they would in the past about like bankruptcy, and they're not like one of them is doing well for themselves. I can tell by their position in their career. Um, the other one is more fresh, but is taking it very positively. So things are looking like better already. I don't like his statement. Like he keeps like making these statements as if they're like absolutely true and then equating them to like the points he wants to make. But like if the statement isn't true, then what you're saying doesn't matter. Like
Not allowed to lose their land. Okay, so these people are under certain conditions. They have to work because they
you don't write off bankrupt
Today, if
people.
somebody goes bankrupt, you write them off and they do whatever they
It's
like.
like indentured servitude in England.
Yeah.
That's how the United States was founded was on indentured servitude before slavery.
But
Sorry.
Before slavery.
I'm a history buff.
Before,
And you say
but
things and I
before
connect
slavery.
them.
No, you're connecting and you're saying it.
My
Absolutely,
opinion.
absolutely. You're educated. That's why. Let's work with the word bond servant because same word, or I say abad for you if you want. But bond servant means that you work for a contract for.
Now, I'm very curious. Like, I don't know if we want to actually keep track of how long he talks about each one of these, but we're at 20 minutes right now. We're just gonna call it 20.
One master, you're bankrupt, you're paying your debt off, he gets paid, he works for 7 years maximum or the 50th year, whichever that comes first. Then he's released. The condition under which he works is dependent on how many years he's got left. He goes and he looks after his land. Are we good with that?
Yeah.
That is a good thing because they're bankrupt, they're paying off their debt. Now we come to prisoners. Yeah, I love it. For me, it works.
So my main thing with that is just that why is that the best idea? Like clearly there has to be better ideas, but you know, not the worst. Like that is by far not the worst.
Biblically, that sounds good. Prisoners of war. Prisoners of war, they're under harsher conditions because they were people who want to kill them. These people are under stricter conditions.
You see how he snuck that in there? Harsher conditions because these people want to kill them, right? So we're taking the assumption that like none of the conflicts were agitated by his like the side that he sides with, right? He's taking the assumption that like, oh, they're coming over here to get us. We defeated them. Now the ones we've captured,
They can't be released.
put them to
If
work.
they get released, they might attack them again and kill them. But they don't kill them because they're merciful. So they put them under harsher conditions
merciful.
and make them pay for the damage they caused to the country. So they become workers under very strict conditions to look after the country to rebuild it. Okay, that's what they are. And do you know the same word? Abed, the bond servants. Now comes a third bond servant, which is more.
So we're just gonna say that because we defeated you because we were at war and you damaged us, we're gonna make you fix. You're gonna make you fix it. I mean, for the times that's what you got to do. It makes sense for the times. It makes sense. It sounds like something humans would come up with.
critical
Yes.
and a little bit harder to deal with. This is the one you're bringing up.
Yes.
In Leviticus chapter 25, verse 44 and 45, it says something that blows
Yeah.
people's mind.
Yeah.
It says
Yeah, it
foreign
does.
slaves you can buy and sell, which is very similar to very similar.
Yeah.
And then it says you can keep them because they're your property. That sounds pretty harsh.
Yeah.
And
That's
if
pretty.
you die, they can inherit it to your kids. You may inherit it.
That's like the
Oh.
words of slavery right
Oh
there.
my goodness, that's like the
That's 1,
harshest.
2, 3. There you go.
That's because that's how the atheist would describe that.
Yep.
And it sounds harsh.
Yeah.
Let me make it a bit worse. Exodus chapter 21. It says you can
So let's skip over that and go to something else.
beat your slaves up to within an inch of their life. You've heard that one? And if they don't die, they're scot-free.
Yep.
They just go. Wow, that sounds even worse.
Yeah.
Am I helping you a little
Yeah,
bit here?
all right.
Okay.
I know you're going somewhere with this. So
Yeah, you know I'm going to
Yeah,
some of this. Okay, so here
I
comes.
see it coming. Hit me.
You can absolutely. It turns out none of it is true. It turns out what it's saying.
It turns out, guys, I was just kidding. I was just playing. The whole thing was a joke. Don't do any of that. Yeah, I know you had to wrote it down, but I don't actually want you to do it. It was a joke. What is this guy talking about? What is he at? What is he? Also, that face. He looks like he wants a pudding pop. All right.
Absolutely. It turns out none of it is true. It turns out what it's saying, the buying and selling is not with the slave master. Because there's another verse in Exodus 21 that says if you buy and sell a slave, or if you're seen with some slave, you are to be put to death. So you can't go and steal them, and you cannot sell them. If you do that, then you're put to death. That's in Exodus 21.
So what's the reason for the contradiction? Why is it? Yeah.
So notice how he skipped over the one in Leviticus, right? He threw out like a very salacious one and then brought up something that seemed worse, but had a statement addressing it in the same book. Never went back to what Leviticus said about bequeathing them, I think is the the super old English word they use for it, but inheriting them to your children. He goes with this, which talks about, what to do with like ones that go free, but it's still not like this guy's position, I think, was more like, hey, if it condones it, it's wrong, right? Like it is 100% condoning slavery. So he's lying about what the Bible says about slavery. It says that you may purchase your slaves from the heathens around you. Yeah. They probably feel like, so like he does a lot of dancing around. He does a lot of dancing around. Well, also supports child slavery and his ownership. Yeah. So no, okay. So I don't know if you've seen it or if you but like a couple of seconds ago, yeah, he brings up Leviticus, and then he brings up another passage in Exodus that gets addressed later, but then doesn't go back to what Leviticus said. He just kind of dances around.
Because the buying and the selling, the payment is not going
And this
to the master, it's going to the person.
Tribulate. This is what we talked about on Facebook the
You're
other day.
paying the person. Is the irony.
Yeah.
The atheist has no idea what they're dealing with, right? But unfortunately, the Christians are confused too. So the buying and the selling.
Here we go again. It is the, hey, no one knows. You're telling me, okay, I'm telling you, you're confused. Like you and your group is confused. But also my group is confused because the ones that you talk to confused you. So clearly my group is confused. However, I have the truth. I know like what it actually means, and I'm going to give you the truth. It like oozes grifter, right? Like I'm not over, I'm not over like this is pretty like in front. Like it's right there. Like this guy is full of it. The things he's saying about he's a grifter, man. He's bad.
With, right? But unfortunately, the Christians are confused too. So the buying and the selling is them. They leave the country they're in. These are the foreigners, not the ones who live in Hebrew.
Well, isn't that the same thing? There's something called slave debts, right? Didn't slaves also have you remember how like slaves could buy themselves free, like Frederick Douglass, for example.
Right. No.
Right. So
Let's stick to what the Bible is saying, not what people are saying.
I'm just saying that the definition
People
of slave,
abuse.
that still sounds like slavery.
Yeah, people have abused the word slavery, and they think it's the Bible, right? I'm telling you what the Bible says. Okay, so what
He's like, hey, we're not.
happens is the Gentiles, people who are non-Hebrews, walk into Israel, and they say, "We're escaping our country. Can you look after us?"
Yeah.
A family in Israel would say, "We will adopt you. We will pay you money to become bond servants, not slaves." They're not called slaves. The Bible calls it in English slaves, but in the Hebrew it's abed. So they become bond servants. So they come in and work with this family forever. But why is it forever for them and not forever for the Hebrews? Because the Hebrews are not allowed to lose their land. They have to go back to their land. And the strict is 7 years. They get gifts and they send off. But the Gentiles are not to be released, because if they're released, Roy, where do they have to go back?
I guess nowhere.
They have to go back to the country they came from, which is the one they're escaping from.
Yes.
So therefore, it's political asylum. These people are asking for political asylum, and the Bible says, if someone comes into your country, look after them and put them in your homes and let them work for you, because it's not for free. They work for you. But what happens if the master dies? Then they go back to the
I bet this guy loves Trump. Okay.
country. So God makes provision so that they don't have to go back, so that you can send it down to their children. It doesn't say you must, it says you may.
Now here's the thing. Here's the thing that gets me. Okay. He specifically said, like, these are refugees coming to Israel, right? So if they're refugees, they are coming because they're fleeing from something, and most likely they may not be able to return. So just because you give the option for a people to be like free, right? Like you guys can go free, right? Like they're not, they're not native to the land. They don't have all the same rights as you, right? They're very specific about who gets what rights, and usually goes by your bloodline or your race, right? Like I wonder where Europeans got that idea from, huh? But if that's like how they're picking and choosing, then like it's a lose-lose situation. Like going free as a foreigner is still like not the best. And it brings this to mind. I'm gonna read, because I don't think they actually bring this one up. Actually, no. The young man does try to bring this up, but I'm gonna read it now. No, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna let this play. And then when he brings it up, I'm gonna read this scripture, because there is something that comes to that. Because letting people go isn't just this magical solve
chapter
everything.
25, if you go past 44, 45, you will find that there were foreigners who came in who now have Hebrew slaves. That means these slaves of the Gentiles were not permanent. They could be released. If the command was enslave them, then they couldn't themselves have Hebrew slaves, right? It's in the same chapter. It gets better. In the same chapter, just go back a few verses.
Slaves can't have slaves.
But wait, there's more. Okay.
No, that proves that they're not slaves, because they are allowing Hebrews to work for them as bond servants. I'm using the word slaves deliberately. Bond servants, they can have bond servants themselves, which means they're not permanent. That means they can be let loose at some point if they wanted to. If they have money, they can become rich and release and pay off another Hebrew's debt.
My only concern, I like where you're going, because I like this.
Because I'm not finished. I've got plenty more.
I just for a question. What would your response be in other forms of slavery? Like if I can take slavery like the American.
No, that's evil. We're talking about the Bible,
but I'm
right?
saying, this aspect you're saying is that
That's evil.
right? They get paid, and the money that they get paid, they can accrue that money and then
Become
pay
rich.
off. They can become rich
And be
but then-
released.
but they have to pay.
First of all, why would he say that? They could become rich? What?
They have to pay to be released, right?
No,
No,
what?
they're not
No,
paying to be
not,
released?
no.
Okay.
You're talking
Alright,
about
so I
the
got confused.
you're talking about the Hebrew slaves, where they can pay their debt early and go back.
Okay, sorry.
You're not talking about the.
Different.
You're
So
not
they just,
talking,
at any time they could just.
they can be released anytime they want to.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's why they're called servants and not slaves.
That's why they're called
being
bond
played as
servants.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we don't. The Bible doesn't refer to bond servants in a negative way. It refers to it in a positive way.
So then the second.
So we're not finished yet.
Oh, sure.
These people are handled so well, to such a high standard, that in the same chapter chapter 25, it says, if a Hebrew gets into trouble, treat them as good as you treat those Gentiles, these foreigners that come into your country. Well, if the Bible is supposed to enslave these foreigners, why is it saying treat the Hebrews as good as that? It wouldn't make sense. And
it doesn't, because it's saying two different things. This guy is just going on. And as opposed to slavery, why in the name of common sense would he ever write a sentence that says you may purchase your slaves from heathen nations around you? Yes, and I think I cannot remember right now if that's one that he gets into.
Through Exodus,
Because this guy
and
brings up
Leviticus,
some other
it talks
stuff
about how to love your foreigners that come into your country, how not to abuse them, how to treat them well, and love them like you love each other. That will be incompatible. Therefore, slavery is just not in the Bible. It's bondservant or political refugees. When it talks
May I
about
ask another point? 'Cause, like, for
bondservant or political refugees. You notice how he just changed it, right? Initially, he had the Hebrew slave, the prisoner, and then the foreigner. But then he kind of grouped prisoner and foreigner together as like a political, what do you say, political something?
bondservant or political refugees.
Yeah, political refugee, right? So he changes it because he's trying to avoid foreigners. He's trying to avoid like just straight up like a slave that you would purchase from among the nations, because that is the one. Okay, now I remember now. Josh, I don't think he actually addresses it because he's trying to dance around that one specifically, I think. For the asylum, so they're slaves for their own good. Got it right. Again, because if they are there for political asylum, if they cannot return to their own land, then it's like being a a foreign person and in an ancient land, what I'm saying, where like the rights, the human rights are not the same as they are like today, right? Like we're thinking about like how we would treat a foreigner, and yeah, it says good stuff, but yeah, it says also like a lot of bad stuff. So him saying that, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you caught that, Josh.
Love them like
This
you
part
love
right
each
here is
other.
rough.
That will be incompatible. Therefore, slavery is just not in the Bible. It's bondservant or political refugees. When it talks
may I
about
ask another point? 'Cause, like, for correctness.
And he like I don't he's gonna go somewhere else with this, but like right there, that should have not been allowed to fly. Like him just kind of he just kind of slyly put those two together. He didn't want to actually talk about actual
What would you
slaves.
say to? I think is it called the Canaanite massacre?
yes. Oh, now we come to that.
Well, I
That's
know that's
genocide.
different, but
That's
like
genocide.
we can leave that point aside.
Yeah, that's
But for like
genocide.
a specific thing, one of the things they talk about is take the women,
Yes, yes,
and leave it,
yes. I get you.
and they become
Yes, I get you. Not
Is
slaves,
that
not
not
wives.
slaves?
They become wives. Yeah,
Okay.
but it does sound.
Okay, I'm gonna let him go a
Isn't
little
it
bit.
also like men become like
No.
No?
That becomes still harsh. The way you're describing it would sound harsh. I get that.
Yeah, but
The way you're
Shall I
describing it
finish
would
this
sound
one?
harsh. The way you're describing it, which is like
But
it
it does sound
sounds.
wasn't it, and they become
Yes, I get you. Not
Is
slaves,
that
not
not
wives.
slaves?
They become wives. Yeah.
Okay.
But it
Wives.
does
So
sound
wasn't it
still harsh.
also like men becomes like
No.
No?
That becomes still harsh. The way you're describing it would sound harsh. I get that.
Yeah, but isn't the
Yeah, shall I finish this one first?
I was just trying
So I'm gonna he doesn't, I don't think he brings up this this verse, but I'm gonna read Deuteronomy 21, 10 through 14. God, I might not read all of it. We're probably not gonna read all of it. We're gonna read some of it. Suppose you go to war against your enemies, and the Lord your God hands them over to you, and you take them as captives. And suppose you see among the captives a beautiful woman, and you are attracted to her and want to marry her. If this happens, you may take her to your home, where she must shave her head, cut her nails, and change the clothes she was wearing when she was captured. She will stay in your home, but then let her mourn for her father and mother for a full month. You may marry her, and you will be her husband, and she will be your wife. But if you marry her and she does not please you, you must let her go free. You may not sell her or treat her as a slave. You have humiliated her. Many problems with this. First of all, someone who loses their entire family, their country, their home, probably the last thing they think about is marriage. Maybe from like a security standpoint, especially because that's how the culture was, but like And marriage for marrying for love is a very 21st century concept. So I could totally see like it only being for survival, but not necessarily being because that's a desire, right? So it's already like pretty rough. And what the young man did, he kind of called it like it was. Like he said, and I don't even think he was talking about this. Like I think this is a different country that was involved with um the war, the conflict, the war. Well, not conflict, it was fucking war. Um but what he says is he says like you can take the young women as slaves, and this guy goes, no, wives. And just because you give them a title, just because you marry them, doesn't change the fact that that is the same, like it's a crime. That is trafficking. That is slavery. That is assault. Like there's nothing that is forced consent. Like and then it's like if she doesn't please you, you may let her. What is it? If she doesn't please you, you must let her go free. So first thing is if she doesn't please you, you may let her go free. So if the man isn't pleased, she may go free. This is another like notch on the belt for misogyny. You know of many, but the thing that I like kind of also have a problem with this here is it isn't just like the face value, but it's like okay, you let her go free. She's a woman in a foreign land in ancient times. Like what rights is she gonna have? What security is she gonna have? What does she get a job? Like how does she just end up somebody else's wife? Like just kind of like out there to looking for a husband just to be secure. So that stuff is rough, and the way he kind of like slides over it is just like, oh, they were wives. It's like no, they were not in the best of situations. Like imagine people killing your family, and then those same people are like the same person. Like because this is like if you find like so either you were just in this house killing a family, then you see this young woman and you take her, or y'all killed everybody, rounded everybody up, and then everyone's like walking through taking dibs. Like either way you think about it, like this is ridiculous. Like, and if that is your moral system, then yeah, then you have to justify, slavery, and then say like American slavery is evil, but like all the other stuff's fine. But what he's not realizing, and the other guy doesn't really like marry the two, is like American slavery was heavily influenced by the Bible. So to not address that, I don't know, it's kind of weird. But
From my
keep
understanding,
rolling.
in the genocides that are spoken about in the Old Testament, one of the things that happens is they raid another tribe and they take some of them as slaves. And that's what they take. Yeah. So is that different?
No, because they can't do that.
We leave that as different. You can
Yes.
continue. My bad.
It's possible that these will be considered as prisoners of war because they're causing damage,
Yeah.
and therefore that's treated slightly differently. Like,
Because they're causing damage. He always brings up this because they're causing damage. Never mind the fact that the Israelites were commanded to go and attack people. Right? So what are we talking about? If we're taking prisoners of war, they're not always going to be attackers. And if they're attackers, is it retaliation? That's a question.
I said earlier.
Like you were saying.
Like I said earlier. Okay, let's finish this slavery thing. The part where in Exodus 21 it says that you can beat your slave within an inch of their lives. It doesn't say they'll not face consequences. It says they are not to face the death penalty. So in other words, if you don't kill your slave, don't kill the master. Now the question is, well, what happens to the master if they beat the slave? Do they get scot-free? Do they get away with it? No, because only a few verses later, I think it's about 5 verses later, 5 or 6 verses later, it says, if you hurt his eye or his tooth, the Bible refers to eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, as an explanation, as if you hurt anything within this person, then this person, the slave that you hurt, goes free. And it says, remember, he is your money. It says he is your property. Actually, it says he is your property. And in the original Hebrew, the word property is not property as in...
So it's okay because if you hurt the slave, there are consequences. See, as long as there are consequences to having slaves, it's okay.
Object that belongs to you. It's actually money The same word is translated as money in other places,
Yeah.
but more specifically, investment.
It's an
saying
asset.
This slave who you paid to work for you is your investment.
So
If
if you
you
beat your
hurt him,
investment,
you lose your investment. Yeah, it means all the money you gave him, he keeps, and you lost it. So if you hurt him, you lose him. If you kill him, you die.
I mean,
Now tell me,
yes.
does that sound like the slavery you thought that the Bible is teaching at this point so far?
As a
That's right. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what the delay, but yeah, no, exactly. It is absolute rape. It is absolute assault. There is no way around it, and you can just like dump her if you don't like her. You just like, yeah, you're letting her go free. You just put this girl out. It doesn't even say. I don't remember. Like even after, I think after that it goes on to say something else. It doesn't even like go into like give her funds or something like that. Cover whatever. Put her in the yeah. It just kind of goes to the next thing if I remember correctly.
I would say half and half. So I would say there were some things I'm definitely gonna look at the prisoner of war distinction later.
I didn't say anything you disagreed with. I mean, why are you saying half and half?
Well, the reason I'm saying half and half is this isn't. I wouldn't.
Because you led this man along thinking that you were agreeing with all of his wild takes on evolution and morality, and now you're like, "Hey, that's not what I think," and he's like, "No, this is what you think." Like, what are you talking about? You've been agreeing with you this whole time.
Agree. This is saying there's no slavery in the Bible.
No, but this is
Because-
it. I just told you about it. This is Leviticus chapter 25. At least read it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is I'm gonna have to look that up later.
Thank you. Well, okay,
but,
two things.
Yeah, but
Either
he
lying-
didn't-
The reason I'm saying half and half is
So-
some of the other things you're saying.
Okay, so he mentions it, but he doesn't actually say what it says. I'm gonna read it because he doesn't want to actually say what it says, but he mentions it as like it's a rough one, right?
This is
Because
it. I just told you about it. This is Leviticus.
I wouldn't agree. This is saying there's no slavery in the Bible.
No, but this is
Because-
it. I just told you about it. This is Leviticus chapter 25. At least read it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is I'm gonna have to.
I think that's the one where he said like afterwards it was justified because of what was said in Exodus about not buying slaves. But what Leviticus says is, however, you may purchase male and female slaves from among the nations around you. You may also purchase the children of temporary residents who live among you, including those who have been born in your land. You may treat them as your property, passing them on to your children as permanent inheritance. You may treat them as slaves, but you must never treat your fellow Israelites this way. So once again, setting aside a special race, wonder where the Europeans got that, and condoning buying slaves just as long as they are from a foreign nation. So how exactly are we treating those slaves, Mr. whatever your name is on this video? Because he doesn't really address it. He tells the guy to go read it, but he doesn't actually address what the concerns would be behind it. He chooses to point out. See, this is another thing. He doesn't actually ask this young man, hey, which examples do you have a problem with? I can clear those up. He comes with his own examples, which one of them, the one in I think Exodus was one that I hadn't actually. Have I read that one? No, I think I read that. That's the one about like if you beat the slave, if they don't die, then you don't have to be put to death. But it's like he makes it seem like okay because the slave owner is punished that it's okay. Go free after her country is destroyed and family killed. The fuck is she supposed to do? Exactly. That's one of the biggest red flags. Like, I mean, the other stuff is like horrible, yes, but it's like I think it's a big red flag that even your solution is incredibly harmful. Like even the solution that you propose of like, oh, just let her go free is wild. So yeah, like it's rough. But he like yeah in Leviticus, so like him not even addressing the Leviticus thing kind of tells me like he's not, it's just not good faith argumentation, which is yeah, like it's the it's why debating them is a nothing burger, because they do stuff like this.
Look that up later.
Thank you. Well, okay,
but
two things here. I'm either
the
lying.
reason I'm saying half and half is some of the other things you're saying.
Don't look it
is,
up
like, for
later. Look it up
example,
now. Tell him. Tell.
If you
Don't look at. Don't. I'm gonna look it up later. Tell him what is it. Tell me what it says, because he mentions how it's like a rough one, but then he goes, "There's another one that's even worse. It's in Exodus, but then Exodus has this other scripture that backs it up, and I'm never gonna address the Leviticus thing again."
your slave, your investment is forfeit. Well, it's the same thing with like any slave. If you hurt any slave, like if like the Romans, for example.
Can we change the wording to if you hurt your bondservant?
My bad. I'm not used to these words.
Bless you.
Yeah, but
Let's change the
hurt your
language.
bone
It's hurting my
Can I change the
feelings.
word?
Or like,
If you hurt your
It's
employer-
making me uncomfortable.
You hurt your bone servant, you beat them within an inch of their life. Well, then, yeah, you are also losing your investment as
Yes,
well.
exactly.
'Cause you're beating, so
Same
it's the
thing.
same. So I don't see much the correlation there.
Well,
Now, I will admit for that, if I will be looking at that later.
Thank you.
The if it is the case that bone servants who are prisoners of war,
Yes.
they're able to leave at any time.
Yes.
Then there'll be some reckonings that I'll have to think about.
Yeah.
Because I did not know that fact.
There's one
But for
more
other
thing.
things, yeah.
So you see how, like, in the beginning, he clearly distincts 3 different types of slaves: Hebrew slaves, prisoners, and foreigners. The ones that he says are the bondservants are the Hebrew slaves. He doesn't go into the details of what the foreigners are called. And when this
There's one
guy,
more
They're able to leave at any time.
Yes.
Then there'll be some reckonings that I'll have to think about.
Yeah.
Because I did not know that fact.
There's one
But for
more
other
thing.
things, yeah.
There's one more thing. A slave.
when he kind of confuses and says like, "Oh, they're allowed to leave at any time," like that's not what he was saying for all of them. That is not what he was saying for all of them. And he doesn't correct him. He doesn't say, "No, that's not what I said." I said, the specific bondservant one can go free.
Can run away from his master, and the Bible says if you catch a slave who's run away from his master, protect him, don't send him back.
We can test the Bible.
Oh, hey, I mean, you get,
But
you get an extra
we called
slave.
it slave. That's
Sorry,
why it
you get an
sounds
extra
bad.
bone servant. You get an extra bone
If
servant.
you're,
Yeah.
let's try another word.
Extra bone
Employee.
servants are good.
If your employee
Yeah.
runs away from the employer who's under a contract that he can't escape,
Yeah.
don't send him back to the employer.
No, this is a free worker.
The Bible is protecting the foreigner. He's
You know,
not.
It's a free worker. No, it's not. If a slave comes to you, because what I don't they don't even say the scripture, but I'm assuming it's one where like you can't send him back to his master, but you get a free bondservant. So what the assumption we could make here is that like you can take that person in as a bondservant or as a slave, but as a bondservant, so you get a free. So it's like, of course, like that's beneficial. Of course, it's gonna say that. Like it's gonna say, hey, if you find a slave, you can keep them. That's what that's saying. Like he's making it sound like, oh, if you find a slave, like don't send him back to his master. That's the right thing to do. But what it really says is, if you find a slave, you can keep him. And when he says like, hey, when you say it like that, you make it seem harsh. Say it like this, like he's trying to like
Enslaving them.
May I make a
finagle.
point for there? So to incorporate this in an evolutionary context,
Yes.
I kind of said this a little bit earlier,
Yes.
but one of the big developments for why slavery, which is still bad in a modern context, but why it's better in a previous context, is what would be the opponent to slavery. We said this earlier. Like if you're fighting as a tribe, that tribe has done harm on you. They've cost you,
Yes.
right? So you have an option, which is to kill all of them.
Yes.
Right?
Forgot I was muted again. Okay, not always the case. So I don't like most of his responses. I don't think he'll ever see this, but whatever. Like I don't like most of his responses because it is not the case that if you fight another tribe, it's because they harmed you. It could be the case that y'all ran out of food, right? Especially when you consider at one point we moved to find food. We followed our food. We followed animals in different seasons and where to go to get different stuff. And at a certain point, we settled down and we started farming. Well, the issue that arose then is if one year, you didn't have everything figured out, right? Because back then, like they're figuring it out. And, maybe you didn't till the soil. So you didn't the soil wasn't able to reset and regrow all the, not regrow, but recapture all the necessary nutrients and like nitrogen. I know nitrogen is important to support that plant life. Then your crops don't grow. Well, you can let your family starve, or you can go take it from your neighbor's farm. Like it's not rocket science. Like conflicts can arise due to anything, like usually due to like resources. So yeah.
opponent to slavery. We said this earlier. Like, if you're fighting as a tribe, that tribe has done harm on you. They've cost you, right? So you have an option, which is to kill all of them.
Yes.
Right?
But the Bible tells
But
you not
that's
to.
not. But it tells you not to.
Yeah.
Right?
So you're
What's better
saying,
than killing everybody? Slavery. At least in that
right?
time.
I will agree with you.
So it's a bad argument because now you're almost meeting him halfway, but also it's not the best because now you still have mouths to feed, right? If you like, this is like a lot of with like the Aztec. I think the Aztecs would take some slaves, but then they would like kill a lot of them because those are like if they're your slaves, you still have to feed them so they can work. So it's like it really depends on the society, the group, where they're at, morally, where they're at, like technologically, like if they're on the brink of like a new advance or they're like trying to perfect something, they might need a lot of manpower, then sure, maybe. If they are just living in a lap of luxury and they just want to have slaves, and I guess go for it.
If there's such a thing as slavery in that fashion, I would say that biblically that would be not acceptable, but evolutionary wise, totally acceptable. You can do whatever you that will be not acceptable. Agree with.
Right?
So you're
What's better
saying,
than killing everybody? Slavery. At least in that
right?
time.
I will agree with you if there's such a thing as slavery in that fashion.
So that
I would
is
say that
acceptable
biblically that will be not
evolutionarily.
acceptable, but evolutionary wise,
Make it make sense.
you can do whatever you want. Because no one can tell you something is wrong. You can just try to convince them using rational thinking. But to tell you the truth, who's to say your rational thinking is better than the other rational thinking who says I disagree? Who's to say that? Nobody, apart from you and a few other people who agree with you.
And then that's what I say.
So he fails to, again, he completely fails to understand like how evolution works. It doesn't, like, the only influence it would have on morals is just based on how the organism like communicates and mingles and inhabits and interacts with the other members of their species. If it's a social group, then yes, there will be rules and ways of doing things. Solitary species, not so much. They don't care. Like the tiger does not care, jaguar does not care. But the elephant will, and so like to say that like evolutionarily like slavery is okay is just a bad argument. And he goes back to it because he set that point at the beginning. Right. And this is why, like, I stopped at the beginning a few times because it was very like, hey, like, watch out for this. He's going to try to stand on the fact that, like, the argument he's against, is beneath
That's
him.
the weakness of subjectivity.
Got it.
The only thing I could hope is that my rationale and the rationale of others eventually becomes popular enough to become the dominant.
I hope so.
rationale.
I hope everything.
That's why I'm so happy Christianity is the dominant rationale, right? Like the millions of people who believe Christianity, because
So that it is not
is the dominant rationale to become the dominant.
I hope so.
rationale.
I hope
it's not
everything-
dominant
That's why I'm so happy
rationale.
Christianity is the dominant rationale, right? Like
Right? That's not how it works. Like, not with every species. Like with us and the way we articulate things, that's how it seems because we have debates and we have voting, right? But if you get like a group of ants or like ants, if one ant finds food somewhere, another ant will like follow him there. But then if a second ant finds food, another ant will follow that ant, right? And what the ants do is it's like based on like whoever comes back first is basically like it's a quicker trip. So like they can't like tell time, but if like you leave to go get food and another ant leaves to go get food and then you come back first, well, the food's closer, right? It makes sense. So that is a way to rationalize the best way to go to get food. And that is something done by a like a lower intelligence animal. Us, on the other hand, having the higher level of intelligence and like emotional, spectrum, right? Like it's a little more, there's a little more to it, but it's still the same thing. Like whatever is beneficial for the group is the prevailing, rationale. Like it's not like this. Not like he's looking at everything like a debate and like a vote, because that's how we are now. But if we're talking like he keeps wanting to start evolution. So if we're talking evolution, like that has debates and votes have nothing to do with it, right? If we've been evolving as just human species, right? Not even everything else, but just human species, Homo sapiens for 300,000 plus years, but the human like family for over 1 million years, then what are we talking like rationale for? Like if you really want to stand on evolution, here you take, bro. Appreciate it, man. I'm wrapping up. But I appreciate it. Like as if you really understand evolution, then you would know that it's not like you wouldn't just be thinking of like right now how we are in society. Like in today's society, you would be thinking about how have humans done it for the last 1 million years that we've been evolving into what we are now. And neither one of them really do that.
Millions of people believe Christianity because I'm not gonna lie, the Christian morality is good.
Good.
That's why, like,
But
the
you attacked
foundation.
Christian morality just then, though.
Well, yeah,
That's the reason why
I'm
we're
attacking,
talking.
I'm attacking your monopoly
Okay.
on morality because I take a lot of, like for me personally,
Yes.
I could take a lot of inspiration from your
Yes.
morality.
Yes.
But there's some things I've changed, like for example, abortion.
Oh, hello. Hello,
So
mate.
you have to read through.
Yeah, we're wrapping up anyway. That's the kind of, I think they kind of go, they have a weird kind of like finishing exchange, and then it kind of goes to something else. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for stopping by. AAA, Dark Light, whoever this guy was, Pimp Daddy, just a troll. They be, folks be trolling. It's fine. Yeah, trying to use evolution to prove that might makes right is okay and that slavery is fine if you are more dominant, so that when we bring up the scriptures in your book, they don't seem as bad because at least they're based on something, right? After saying that evolution is based on, like, the morality behind evolution is based on nothing, even though evolution has nothing to do with morality, right? That is biology. Morality is more philosophy. Yeah, when you start arguments off like that in bad faith, they make you look really bad. They make your argument look really bad, and they make your faith look really bad. So yeah, do better, I guess. And for all my weirdos and thinkers, thanks for cruising through the woods with me. We're gonna call it a night. It's been your boy Julian. This is Party Wolf Media. Thanks for tuning in live or watching the replay. If you got this far, especially the replay, if you got this far, hey, you gotta subscribe. You gotta subscribe. We're trying to get to 200. I keep saying we, it's just me, but I feel like it's a we thing because it's like us, you know what I'm saying? And the voices, no, I'm just kidding. But we are almost at, well, we're not almost at 200. 200 is the next goal. We're like 130. 200 is the next goal. Thanks for tuning in and have a wonderful night. And remember, keep howling at the moon.